Hello everyone, and welcome back to Network 27. I'm Alderman and Vice Mayor Burnett. I want to thank you all for coming. Happy New Year's! Happy New Year's, everyone. I hope that everyone had great Christmas and New Year, Thanksgiving, all of that good stuff, Hanukkah, all of the holidays. Hope everyone had great holidays. This is going to be a great year. This year is your year, everyone. So we're going to start out this year talking about healthy foods. I have some great guests today talking about healthy foods. We're here with the Urban Transformation Network, and we're here at their greenhouse. So that's why you hear ambulance and fire trucks and everything else, because the greenhouse isn't sound insulated, but it is insulated from the weather out here, so they're able to grow plants and vegetables and fruits during this cold January weather. So today we have with us Donald Patterson, who's the president of the Urban Transformation Network. How you doing?
Pretty good. How you doing, Mr.
Thank you for coming on. We also have Treana Johnson is the director, and we also have Rushil. Desai, man, I said it like 10 times already. Desai. Okay, namaste, Rushil Desai. So Rushil is the chief executive officer from Aetna Better Health of Illinois, who's one of the co-sponsors of this great organization. So I'm gonna start off by Mr. Patterson, if you can introduce yourself and then tell us about this great facility that you have here on the west side of Chicago.
Yes. We are located at 4250 on the west side of Chicago. Now the Urban Transformation Network.
4250 what?
West Chicago Avenue.
West Chicago Avenue.
4250 West Chicago Avenue on the west side. Now in this cold year, or January, it's cold, but where you are standing now in position in this greenhouse, it's a growing facility. It's an indoor greenhouse that grows aquaponics, meaning that you grow vegetables, herbs, lettuces, collard greens.
Collard greens?
Collard greens.
Oh, I'm telling my mama, man. I'm telling my mama. Go ahead.
We need her. We got pesto, basil, tomatoes, chives, onions, pretty much anything leafy that we can grow. 12 months out of the year, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. That's how we grow at Urban Transformation Network Metro Farms in this greenhouse facility. It's not just an indoor greenhouse or farm. It's a facility where we teach young people from 3rd grade and up, and we want them to go to college. That's the goal, is to get them to major in health. Besides health, agriculture. You can be a doctor, you can be a nurse, you can learn about nutrition, you can learn the value, you can learn about pesticides, you can learn where food comes from, how it grows, from the seed to the table. That's one of the things, one of our main key focus besides growing fruits and vegetables, because you got to know where it comes from, but you also look at the careers. You think of a doctor in our community, a nurse in our community. Now we're talking about farming. So what is a farmer? Well, we got farm technology. That's where it's going, because I guess the old farmers are passing on, they're retiring, and the young people don't want to get in the field. So they go into farm technology. They go into growing indoors. They don't want to get their hands dirty. So you can keep your hands half dirty now. You can put on gloves, but you grow from the seed, and you grow from the sun, and you grow through technology. You grow fish to produce waste for your plants can grow through the sunlight. And it's called climate change. So you learn all these factors. You can look at the golf course. So you learn these benefits. Who maintains the golf course? A farmer. They don't call him a farmer, but they call him agriculture. So he learns about the greens, but he started in a greenhouse. Those are the careers. So we talk about the careers, we talk about eating healthy, and we also have, I guess, Aetna Better Health looked into this greenhouse and some of the things that we do with young people, and we try to connect to their parents, the families.
So you mentioned Aetna. So Aetna, and so is Aetna one of your funders?
Yeah, Aetna Better Health is sponsoring interns. They started in 2023, but they're looking to go further in 2024. So right now they're in expansion mode. they're in expansion mode of getting more interns than what they started with in 23.
So why don't we talk to Rushil, since we're talking about his organization. So why don't you tell us your participation with this greenhouse?
Yeah, no, thanks for the opportunity. So Aetna Health of Illinois is one of the managed care plans in the state of Illinois. There's five managed care plans that we have. We have about 430,000 members statewide, and effectively we're responsible for the total cost of care for all things in healthcare for those members. 70% of our population is moms and babies. So you think about Chicago, the west side, the south side, that's the children, the moms, that's the bulk lion's share of our population. And you think about healthcare today, why are we here? Why are we working with Don and the team here? Healthcare is holistic, right? It's not just going to a doctor. It's about, you've got to tackle food insecurity, food as medicine, the benefits of nutrition and healthy living, but we know our members today, this is the most vulnerable population that we have, right? Housing, food insecurity, workforce, all of that is important, because if you're not tackling those items, you're not prioritizing healthcare. It's just the bottom line, right? So sure, do we want to make sure our children are getting vaccinations, or getting their wellness visits? Absolutely, right? So for us, it's all about meeting our members in the community and all about tackling the thing to provide a holistic model of care for our members, right? And the best way to do that is work with local organizations, working with Don and his team to meet our members in the community, to go ahead and find how do we talk about eating healthy and think about sustainability, not only from a youth employment perspective and this beautiful greenhouse that we have today, but also making sure that produce gets back to our members, gets back to the population that doesn't have healthy options, doesn't have what that looks like. So that's the synergies that we see, that's what we're excited about. But while Aetna has a national footprint, a local footprint in the state of Illinois, we can't do that without our community partners. And we know and we trust our community partners to help make that happen. And there's so much that's happening today. You think about youth employment connecting to all the children in our school. You think about how that leads to jobs afterwards. We know that 50,000 members, or 50,000 lives in the state of Illinois today between the ages of 16 to 24 don't have a college, post-college grad degree, or just even a college degree. So when you think about operations like this opens up that avenue to think about things outside of school. How do you diversify those skills? How do you go back to our community and make sure that we're getting food out there to our members? So a recent study by the American Heart Association, where they just touched on the concept of food as medicine. So if we're talking about chronic conditions and diabetes, hypertension, COPD, all of that ties back to food and how we're thinking about healthy nutrition and starting that off at an early age, but continuing that all the way through. But to be in the west side of Chicago, to have this as an option, to get this out to all the members that live out here, well, that's transforming healthcare.
Fantastic. So Aetna sponsors interns. So you sponsored how many interns, was it?
20, Don?
Yeah, 20.
Yeah.
And how long did they work? Just in the summer?
Starting up right now, yeah.
Pardon me?
In the last 4 months, we started back in September, October, so that's when the partnership started.
And is that a paid internship?
Yeah.
So you all give them money to pay folks?
Don and his team do, absolutely.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And so these interns, are they in college or high school, or where they come from?
High school.
High school? Okay, fantastic. So you're teaching high school students horticulture already. So that's interesting. So Treana, why don't you tell us about yourself? And I know, most folks know you from Johnny Miller's church, but tell us outside of being the one of Johnny Miller's enforcers at the church, what's your position here?
My role here is being a director, pretty much of the organization. I work with the youth. I work with the seniors. We teach and just have a communication with our students of learning agricultural, aquaponics, environmental science, working in a controlled environment that we're in. A lot of kids don't know of actually where their produce or where their food come from. So we teach them, and they have the responsibility of taking a seed, planting it, watching it grow, transferring it from the germination stage into the NFT stage, from the NFT stage to the rafting area, to harvesting it, packaging it, and then learning the responsibility of entrepreneurship. We have farm stands in the wintertime. We do shows with Chaz High School. They have a flower and water show in March that we're getting ready to do. So we have to prepare those things for those shows up and coming. So they learn distribution, wholesale, entrepreneurship, and healthy eating.
Wow. So I wouldn't have never imagined all of that would come out of this greenhouse that's sitting on Chicago Avenue.
Yes.
So that's a lot of stuff. So it was interesting to hear you all talk about fish, right? And so you're breeding fish. So you got fish and more fish come. So how does that work with the fish? What happens? What do you all use the fish for? Tell us about that.
Well, fish we use it for fertilizer.
So use the fish waste for fertilizer?
Yeah, the fish waste goes to fertilizer. It grows the plants faster than the fish grows.
Really?
Yeah, so the average plant from seed to production is 6 weeks. So the youth plant from the seed, they put it in something called rock wool. Instead of soil, it goes in rock wool. They plant it in the rock wool. 2 weeks to go from germination stage, she said 2 weeks, and then she go to the table. As far as a fish comes in as a seeding, comes in about the size of your fingernail, and it's got to grow 6 to 9 months. But its waste grows the plant or the vegetable or the herb in 6 weeks. So you learn that process first. You learn about the process of no pesticides, no spray, no chemical that kills bugs. So in order to have organic or healthy product that goes in your system, which Aetna Better Health is trying to get to and teach. Also that pesticides, or you can imagine in the summer when a mosquito hits your hand and you spray it, or you spray something on you to keep the bugs off. Well, that's the same things you put on outdoor plants and vegetables. But figure that going in your system. Figure that intake. If it can kill a bug, how long is it going to take to wipe you out inside?
Wow, I never thought about that.
That's a greenhouse. So the greenhouse has so many functions that Ms. Johnson was talking about. They make production, or they make pesto. So they grow the plant and they turn it into a product that goes on the table. So you can take basil and whatever ingredients they turn it into, it turns into something they put in a glass container and they call it pesto.
So let's go back to the fish. Because I remember being here and you all had some folks here from one of the universities working, right?
Yeah, Purdue University.
Purdue University. And then I thought it was someone from the, what's the...
University of Illinois?
No, the place over there east.
High school?
No, didn't you all have someone from, what's the museum? It's not a museum that we have.
Shed Aquarium.
Shed Aquarium.
Shed Aquarium.
Yeah, the
Yes,
Shed
we did.
Aquarium. Right, you had some folks here from the Shed Aquarium.
We still do.
Yeah, so what do the people from Shed Aquarium do here with the fish?
They don't utilize our fish that you go to the table. They work with the aquariums, which is different size.
So they work on your aquarium.
Yep, and they teach the kids about, it's the same science that the fish to the table go through. They have to treat the water, test the water.
So you teach kids how to deal with aquariums.
Exactly.
Okay, go. That's
I'll let
great.
Ms. Johnson, she's the expert
Go
on
for
that.
it. Go for it, Ms. Johnson.
So we have a partnership with Shed Aquarium. Some people can't afford to go to the Shed Aquarium because the shed is expensive. So we're kind of like a smaller version of the Shed Aquarium on the west side of Chicago. We work with them in regards to their aquaponics. They're learning and teaching our students via Zoom towards of how to take care of an aquarium, testing the waters, what potassium, the calcium, what stages that it has to be in. So the shed works with us towards of that partnership and teaching us about our fish. Our fish, we use tilapia fish on the growing side, and we have Oscars, we have walleye, catfish.
I like tilapia and catfish.
Okay.
What do you do with them after you get done? Because you know me, I can come and get. I'm just kidding.
Yes, you can come on and get them. But our fish, they start off, as Mr. Patterson was saying, they start off at 0.4 grams. We use their fertilizer, and in the midst of them growing to a full stage of 1 to 2 pounds, it takes about 8 months to a year to be actually 1 to 2 pounds. We use their fertilizer, it flows through our system. We separate the nitrates with the nitrotates, and because it's flowing through the walk wheel and the seed versus we're an indoor garden, because of the heat control environment, it makes it grow. It's like it's suffocating, so it has to come out and grow. So it is growing all year round versus outside, you only grow seasonal. Well, in here, we're growing 360 days of the year.
So you breed the fish. The fish have babies, the babies grow. When they get grown, you use all of their waste as fertilizer. When they get grown, you know, what do you do with the fish?
They go to the table.
So you sell the fish?
Yeah, to a market.
So you sell your fish to the market.
To the market.
You sell your vegetables to the market. Wow, that's fantastic. And then the young people learn how to do that from the eggs to.
Our students also have the opportunity, we have a nursery here, so in our nursery they mate. So the students have the opportunity to take them out of the nursery and then put them into the other tanks. So they actually have to feel and touch and grab them and put them from tank to tank.
Wow, so this is almost like a university, huh?
A small university on the west side.
I would say a master's program.
A master's program?
Because they get to go on field trips. They go to Washington, D.C. They've been to the Capitol. They've been to the Capitol of the USDA. And they're going to go to Aetna Better Health in 24. That's coming up. They go to the Museum of Science, Field Museum, Shedd Aquarium, Agriculture High School. And we're looking at going to businesses that relate to the products. So you really want the students to more than just be in the farm, in the greenhouse, after they work in and get an understanding of it. So when they go to the Shedd Aquarium, they see it on a wider spectrum. And Aetna Better Health is looking to get them to more places for better health.
So during that process of the fish, the young people learning how to deal with the farming of the fish, then that's where some of the interns come in. So the interns that Aetna sponsors, they do all of that?
They do all of that.
Okay, and they work in coordination with the Shedd Aquarium students, or are they Shedd Aquarium students or just employees of the Shedd Aquarium?
Employees.
Employees of the
yes.
Shedd Aquarium?
Yes.
So do you all sponsor them all? Do Aetna sponsor them also, or the Shedd sponsors them?
No, Aetna. Aetna sponsors
You sponsor
the interns.
interns, but you also sponsor the Shedd Aquarium?
No. They sponsor the interns. They go to the Shedd Aquarium.
Right.
So
Okay.
our partners, which is the Shedd Aquarium, they donate their services to the interns.
So they teach the interns.
Yeah, they teach the interns
Okay.
on different levels.
So Aetna is a sponsor. So Aetna is one of your sponsors. So tell me, but they're not your whole sponsor. So tell me, how did this start? Where did this come from? How do a guy with Gucci glasses on, have a greenhouse right on the west side, teaching kids how to farm?
I'm in a retirement mode. So I'm a CPA.
Okay.
I operate other businesses with Gucci glasses. Because
With Gucci glasses.
I went to Langston University.
Yeah.
Now if you go to Langston University in Langston, Oklahoma, you deserve Gucci
I
glasses.
feel you, man.
I went where it was maybe 5 miles, and that's the whole town. So my days was I went to a Catholic grammar school, a private high school, De La Salle. Then I went to Oklahoma, Langston University.
Okay.
So with pride, I just came back from homecoming last year
Is that
in
right?
October.
Okay.
So you figure if you can sacrifice 4 or 5 years in Langston University, Oklahoma, in the country, then come back to Chicago. Most guys that I went to school with, they stayed in Oklahoma. They didn't come back to Chicago. I came back to Chicago and operated my business, worked for the government, and now I'm looking into my whole goal is to help people. That's where I'm really at, is helping people. Now I'm turning to helping young people. My career, I help adults and older people doing taxes and accounting and insurance. Now, so how did you get into farming? Well, I used to own land, and you had to do something with your land. In 2006, 2007, during a development period, it stopped, it froze. That's how I really looked at getting into agriculture and farming, because you couldn't put property on land because nobody was buying. But we had land. Then you come to Chicago and they had vacant lots that wasn't being used. And then you look at the aspect of looking at youth. If you can occupy the youth with something, it'll cut down on crime. We don't advertise, don't come out and say this is crime, but this is crime prevention also. It's healthy aspect, but it's crime prevention. Because the youth that come, they really get involved. Their mind is starting to get involved. That's why they end up at the Shade Aquarium. You got Aetna Better Health, you got the museum. They're starting to get into other careers without knowing it. And they're eager. And we work with the Chicago Lighthouse, people with disabilities. So people get more involved into plants and nature because it's calm and it's peaceful, but you're looking at careers and you're looking at the healthy aspect of it. Then you say 16 to 24, some people can't go to college, some is not cut out for it, but they still get into production, packaging.
So we're going to come back to that. And there was more with that I wanted to ask you. So I appreciate, first of all, thank you for coming back on, right? Thank you for coming back to the city of Chicago. Thank you for, having a great career, but then, transforming to giving back to the community. It's not just about making money, right? So when you get older, you start figuring it's not just about money, it's about people, it's about, contributing to society. So we appreciate that. But I want to make sure that we touch my man over here with Aetna. What made Aetna get involved with this?
Yeah. So I think Aetna goes above and beyond just being a healthcare insurance company, right? Most people think about insurance companies and Aetna and, doing with providers in the back, doing with members in the back. A lot of what we've been focusing on, though, is what are called health-related social needs, health equity, health disparities, right? And what we found is in order for us to really make a difference in the community and really to help our members, you've got to tackle everything that supports the member, right? It's housing, it's workforce, that's food insecurity, it's transportation. These are all basic barriers that if we can't solve for them as an organization, be in the community, meet our members where they are, we're not going to be able to talk about healthy outcomes. We can't make sure that every child has an immunization, has their annual wellness visit, mom's getting their breast cancer screening done. We can't do those things today, right? And when you think about our population for what Medicaid is, it's our most vulnerable population. You're going to hear me say that over and over again, because they're focused on making sure they have a job. They're focused on making sure they can go ahead and provide for their family. And if we can't help do that, we can't expect them to go to the doctor or, pick up our phone calls from 9 to 5 to, hey, can we schedule your screening, or can we go ahead and do these things? So for us, especially since the pandemic's been up, we've been looking out to get more and more in the community, find our community partners, and think about, we've got all this information, all this data that's out there to tell us where there's gaps, right? And work with our local community partners to figure out how we solve for that gap. City of Chicago, Urban Transformation Network, we're looking at the whole gambit across the board, but what it comes down to is it's local solutions that help fix the problem. And we've touched a lot about the youth and having, that opportunity to think about how do we connect them after school, come here, provide workforce, provide job opportunities, but there's another angle here too on the produce that comes out of the Metro farms, right? And how do we get that to our members and figure out who needs the produce, but who more importantly wants it? And that's, Don and I were talking about that earlier today, because it's important for us to think about how to make healthy decisions and healthy choices and really start that off at a young age, but it's never too late, right? Food is medicine, that's the key to help tackle preventative, conditions and chronic conditions. So that's what we're here to do.
Fantastic. So, one, I want to say thank you very much. Thank you for investing in our community. Thank you for investing with this organization. I don't know if the audience know how big it is to have a chief executive officer here.
It's not that big of a deal,
It is a big deal. It's a big deal to have you here. You took your time out to be here, and you engage with the growth of this organization. I know Don and Treana, I've been seeing them, around the community for years, trying to expose this to the community, and aggressively. They go to every festival, everywhere you go, you see them, and you're like, this is interesting to see them trying to show people how to grow things, try to encourage folks to do gardens in their yards and gardens on their properties and grow their own food. I mean, this is it's a big deal. So I just want to say thank you very much for supporting them and helping them to help people in the community to be healthy. Because a lot of people in our community, we have the highest, high blood, hypertension, highest everything in our community as far as eating unhealthy. So we really, this is a life or death for us. So thank you very much.
No.
We appreciate you. And I know you're gonna have to leave us in a minute because I know you like flying across the country and everything. But thank you again for taking the time out to be with us, man. We appreciate you.
No, thanks for having us. I mean, this partnership means a lot to us. I mean, I've just seeing it in action, seeing what the team here has built. That's what we're here to do. We believe in healthier communities, and that happens with our Aetna, our providers, our community partners being there together. So thanks for having us. Thanks for the opportunity.
So as they say in Hindi, Jeeti Reho, may you have good health.
Thank you. Thank you. That's good. That's good.
All right, Dandebad.
Dandebad. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so Don, I want to say, so Aetna is involved, but you also have some government agencies involved. They help you to get started. Why don't you tell us about that? And I know that our congressman has helped you a little bit too, right?
Yeah, the congressman, Danny K. Davis, is more like a founder.
He's a founder.
Yeah, he sort of, I consulted him before I got started, and he asked did I really want to do this, and I told him, yeah, because I see this back then to be true. We were looking at crime prevention back in 2013, 2014, and I said, I think the crime is going to pick up in his office on Madison Street. And I said, crime is going to pick up. I can see it coming. And we have vacant lots. Church got land. We got land. We can't do anything with it. We're not doing nothing with it but cutting down the grass or killing the weeds. And we looked at he referred us to the USDA.
The USDA?
Department of Agriculture.
Department of Agriculture, okay.
And they sent out representatives to take a look at the land and said, you got valuable land. You got rich soil. And we started there with them helping us out as far as outreach and education, paying for interns, starting scholarships, trying to help participate in making your soil healthy and wealthy. And then from there we looked at the aspect of, it was sad days when after the summer you got to stop. Now you got the youth involved, you got some of the seniors involved, but now they say, now what? As the young people say, now what? It's over with. So that's how we ended up with a greenhouse, because I didn't like the feeling that there was nothing else to do, you say, in January. So now it's January, and look where we are now in January. Yeah. We got growth.
So I remember years ago, when Reverend Miller's church moved into my area, or his center moved into the area, and they had that little land over there, and they was talking about, Treana and all these folks came to me talking about farming, right? Farming on city land. And I think y'all had a little spot over there by Reverend Miller's center. And if I'm not mistaken, did y'all have chickens over there too? Y'all had chickens over there. So it was like, y'all was like real farmers, you know? You didn't have no roosters over there, did you?
We did have
You
something.
did have some roosters?
I think they walked up. They came on their own.
They came on their own. Yeah, so y'all was like really trying to do it and educate people on back to our roots. Because, you know, we really come from farming and growing our own foods and being self-sufficient. And with the economy being as it is, you know, teaching people how to grow, I mean, is a big deal, right? So is that how, so did you get involved, Treana, through the church and your reverend, your pastor taking the initiative to get involved with this program?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's how you got involved.
That's how I got
And they snatched you.
Yeah,
They snatched you. They snatched you from the pastor.
Yeah.
Say you can't run the chicken farm no more. You got to come over here. Yeah, that's fantastic. So you all have been trying to get. So I was just at a thing with you, with the for the blind.
Chicago Lighthouse.
Chicago Lighthouse for the blind. And you all help them to get a little garden to help the blind people to be able to grow, which is a unique thing.
Yes.
Right? And some of that was funded through the Department of Agriculture, USDA.
And private funds.
Right? So you've done this not only with the Lighthouse for the blind, which is located over on Roosevelt and Damon, right? And that just happened, several months ago. But you've been doing this all over the city. So can you tell me some of the other places where you have encouraged folks to get involved in growing things? And I know that, and the unique thing I recall when we were there, right, with the Lighthouse dedicating that spot for them being able to help the blind people learn how to grow and do other things. Some kids were there from the agricultural school, right? What's the name of that school?
Chicago Agriculture High School.
Chicago Agriculture High School on the south side, right? Right, so they were there. So y'all work with them too?
Sure do.
So tell us about those relationships.
So the Chicago Agriculture High School, it's a school that's, I think it's like 40 acres on a farm. It's an agriculture high school, so everything is ag-based from every department, ag science, ag finance, actual farming with the turkeys, the cows. They have a great understanding because they actually do it. Every class they have is into agriculture. So how we utilize the partnership with them, they work with us as interns, but they also help teach the other kids their skills. So when you see the beds grown, they put them together with power tools. Where we use hammers and screwdrivers and nails, they come in with power tools, and they can put a bed together probably in 15 minutes.
So some folks don't know what a bed is. What's a bed besides what you sleep on?
Yeah, it's a grow bed.
A grow bed.
Yeah, raised bed where you grow outdoors, not indoors, but outdoors. So they have the skills, carpentry, all they got the technology. So we bring them in, their interns, their students, to come work with our students and share the knowledge. Let them sometime teach a class. Let them teach us about the fish, what they already know. So those are things that they participate on. They participate with the field trips. And Ms. Johnson works directly with the school as far as, I think she said something about the flower garden show that they do, that we work with them, their students. And it's a lot of participation that you want Chicago West Side to learn.
So are you a non-for-profit organization?
Yes, non-for-profit.
Non-for-profit. So can other people get involved with you besides the USDA and Aetna in regards to what you're doing here?
Yes, we welcome sponsors, volunteers, interns, educational.
So if somebody was to donate to you, they can write it off?
Yes, they can write it off.
You're 501c3?
501c3.
Okay. So how would people get involved with you? Tell me. So first of all, how do the kids get involved? And then not only how do the kids get involved, but also how do other institutions get involved with you? Like how do the other churches get involved with you? Or folks that, because I know when we go to these festivals and you all be out there with your tables and you have your young kids showing folks what to grow, how it tastes, all of those things that it's so impressive to see the young kids there showing us what they grow and how they grew it and how it tastes, and we can eat it, and so how do you get people engaged and involved with what you're doing?
You have to go out and get them. This is not Nike where it's exposed like a Nike shoe or Michael Jordan. You have to go get them. You have to bring it to them. And with the staff that Ms. Johnson had, they actually go, when they outreach and we sit back and meet where we want to get these kids from, who we want to show the opportunity to, what schools you want to go to, what churches. It's not probably appealing, so you got to make it appealing. You got to somehow get them in. You got to get them to buy into it. But you can get the students, the young people, they'll bring their parents. And if they're off the streets or they're looking for something to do, and they start. And if you get them out of school, they get time. And now with the state passed a new bill where if they come here during school, you're not late, you still get class credit. if it's an event that we have or something major going on, they can actually get an absence from school to come participate.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was very powerful. That's a good tool to use to bring them in, to bring them out. If we take them to the Shed Aquarium that day, or if they was here today, they can be using this time as credit in school. So you have to really go out to bring the students in. The students just don't come. They're not gonna look at this greenhouse. They don't know what's in the greenhouse. If you get this older people, they say it's a lot of hard work until you get them in. When you teach them about the health side of it, you teach them that you don't want to really spray your food. You really don't want to cook at a certain temperature to take the nutrition values out. You don't want to use pesticides. And that's what Aetna Better Health is really focusing on. They're trying to find a solution to show their members how to eat healthy. So it's more prevention now. It's about prevention than waiting to a period. See, when my father passed, he was a diabetic. So it wasn't happy times watching him go through the process. I mean, I watched 10, 15 years of medication. Then when the medication didn't work no more, he still wanted to eat a certain way, but he couldn't. Then you started to see yourself decline. You started to see the pain come in. And then they said, well, you diabetic. Then they said, you hypertension, you got high blood pressure. So, to watch your father, your old man, as we call it, go through this, that was another thing that pushed me into going into something that can prevent to help somebody else. I couldn't help him at all. When it came down, it was no more help. So now we're looking at prevention. You're looking at onions. You're looking at, with the USDA, you learn how to process it. You learn about what time of day to eat. What time of day is a bad time to eat? Well, we like to eat at night because we work all day. That's the worst time in the world to eat. They want you to eat at a certain time, 3 or 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, that's it. That's hard to do. And we didn't know that. Nobody really taught us that. So it's a lot to learn from farming, gardening, health, prevention. It's almost turning now to work because we got to lose weight. I'm still trying to lose. So it's not easy. And Ms. Johnson can talk about that too, things that they do.
So I probably need to come through your program too, man, because I'm gaining a little weight. Especially after these holidays, Jack. I done picked up several pounds, Jack. So that's fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about the greenhouse. So let's start over here. So what do you have over here? Let's go around the greenhouse. And they probably showed us in the B-roll. So what's over there? What's that tree over there? Is that a
tree or
is
plant?
It a tomato plant?
Yeah. It's an Asian plant that we can't call the name today, but it's next to a farm bot. A farm bot is technology based that the University of Illinois donated, and we're still working with the Chicago Agricultural High School to program it from your phone. You can farm from New York.
Straight?
Yeah, that's the technology of it. You can be in Canada and they can be planting on the bed from their phone or their iPad. But say it's 6 people in the room, all 6 of us is on the screen. And you have to know mathematics and science so I won't cross over and take Ms. Johnson and kill her plant. So it's a game, but it's educational, but it's a farm tool that NAPA and NASA is trying to use on how to plant without a human.
It's a newer technology of farm. It's called FarmBot 2025. It's not fully out, but we are in the learning stage, teaching our students robots, technology, things that will engage them from previous of actually growing outside and doing the hard labor of farming. Well, you can sit right on your couch or be at home and tell the robot, plant 4x6, water 4x8.
So it won't be like my wife was, always talk about, she grew up in Mississippi and they were growing cotton and picking cotton and cutting their hands and fingers and all that stuff.
Totally different.
And they don't want to farm no more because they like, in the hot sun.
Yeah, big time.
It's not like that anymore.
There's so many new technologies of agriculture. A lot of people don't know. You have drone technology of going over fields and learning agriculture. So there's a lot of different techniques in agriculture now. Fantastic.
So, okay, we talked about that. What else is in the greenhouse here?
So we have some...
And what are you growing?
We are growing chives. We have basil growing. We have collard greens growing. We have some sweet buttercrisp lettuce growing. You know how you go in the grocery store and you see the 50-50 mix? Well, we're growing 50-50 mix right here. We have green buttercrisp, red oak leaf, and cabbage growing also. So we have a variety of things that's growing right here.
So I see a lot of beds in the back here. Those, am I correct of calling those beds?
Well, rafters. They're called rafts.
Rafters, okay.
Yes,
I'm getting the
rafters.
jargon down. The
Right.
rafter, I'm going to be a professional
Yes,
pretty soon.
yes, you will.
Rafters growing here. Okay.
So let me give you the significance of how it pretty much goes. Once our students or youth or the seniors, they take seeds. They take maybe 4 to 5 seeds and put them in one rock wool. So we individually plant. We plant. And then they put them in these beds, and this is called,
those are beds.
these are germination stages.
Germination.
And because they're sitting here getting water 24 hours a day, between 7 to 10 business days, it pops. So what you see now in the winter of January, they're actually growing from 7 days ago. And this sits here about 2 weeks. And then after that, it's taken from the rock wool over into the NFT. The white parts are called NFT, nutrient film technique. Because of that water flowing through that tube, individually rock wool is growing and growing. As Mr. Patterson said about the 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. So it's 2 weeks in the germination stage, 2 weeks in the NFT, and then 2 weeks over into the rafting stage. And then after that, it's harvest time, time to pull up everything. So versus outside, you can only grow seasonal. Here we grow 24 hours a day.
Yeah, so you probably grow a lot, pretty much. So then after you grow it, after you harvest it, then who do you sell it to? Or who do you give it to?
We give it to some churches, some
Give it to
senior
some
buildings.
churches, some
But
senior
now,
buildings.
yeah, in 2024, we're in the process of creating an online store.
Okay.
So we also going to invite all your colleagues out, because this is almost like a breakaway. You know, this environment from our hard days that we work, say in accounting or being a alderman or in the city hall or the congressman, you can come here and get into another environment. It's a peaceful environment. When I come into the greenhouse on Sunday or Tuesday night, you don't really hear anything. Nobody's aggravating you, and you get off into the plant. So you get to learn the same thing that the youth get involved in. It's a good environment. It's a controlled environment. As she's saying, 222, it means something.
So tell me this, man. So you got fish here, you got greens here, you got the 50-50 lettuce here. You know, I don't know if you had carrots or not, or tomatoes. I know you got.
We did do tomatoes in the
you
summer.
got basil, and you make a cream, right? What's that cream?
Pesto.
Pesto cream, right? You make pesto. Then you got fish. Why don't you open a restaurant, man? All we need is a chef or a cook here. You know, have y'all thought about that? You got all the ingredients. You got all the ingredients for us to eat some food. They say, yeah.
That's a good task right here. For the restaurant, hopefully one day the youth create, certain days in a farmer's market products.
So are any organizations buying your vegetables from you? Are you selling any of it?
Not a lot at
Not
this
a
point.
lot.
No, we sort of either donating or trying to create an online store.
Okay.
So, because the value of it, it's a real value, and it's very costly to grow. When you're doing water and you're banking on the sun and you're looking at the energy of ComEd, it's very expensive to grow organic with no pesticides. So right now we weighing out a lot of options, how to get it on the market with Aetna Health is getting it to the right people. So that's a market, like to get it to their members. The different packages, different products, where the youth can pack the boxes, and with an online store for the youth, they can get to their families and friends and their parents.
So that means you got to have a packaging system in place, a labeling system in place, all of that stuff to market it. That's a lot to learn. You can teach these kids how to really be productive and be resourceful. That's fantastic.
And the USDA offer interns and full ride scholarship to college.
Really?
So if they can make it, the high school and decide they want to look into agriculture, USDA give them up to 5 years scholarship, $140,000 up to $160,000 college tuition.
So tell me this, if somebody want to donate to you all, what could they donate? And how do they donate?
Okay, so Ms. Johnson has all the contact information with the website.
So we have a website, metro-farms.org. Our phone number is 312-471-9151. They can always go online. They can always call us and leave a message, and we'll return the call.
So after your interns are gone, who helped you around here?
We have seniors that come in to help us out also. A lot of
So you always looking for volunteers?
we always love for volunteers to come in. A lot of students have community service learning hours to do from different high schools in the neighborhood. They come in and do their hours.
So tell me this. So if folks wanted to, let's say some restaurants in the neighborhood, right? So now you got Culver's just opened up down the street. I need to go get me something from over there, one of them shakes or something. And you know, and you got another restaurant supposed to be opening over there where he actually supposed to be teaching people how to, teaching young people how to get into culinary arts. Maybe you should talk to them about using some of your product.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, and I anticipate that more restaurants are going to open up around here because you got the police academy and, you know, you got folks working around here who need some place to eat, and there's not a lot of places over here. So you may want to think about that. You know, anyway, maybe I'm thinking too far, but...
No, actually, we've been in contact
with them.
We're trying to let them get settled in. When they first started, they all came here and met, and they said they would once they get their menus and things straight. So we're looking forward to meeting back with Culver's, the owner.
Yeah, at least some of that lettuce on the hamburgers and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
and we grow leaf lettuce strictly for sandwiches.
Strictly for sandwiches.
So leaf lettuce they call it.
That's great, that's great. So, I know you're here on the 4200 block of Chicago Avenue. I know you have some outside things going on. What's outside?
So we have our raised beds outside, and that's strictly for in the summertime. We start around April. We start planting. We've also grown watermelons here. Last year, our students actually learned the responsibility of planting, watching the vines grow, and actually seeing watermelons come out. We've grown squash outside. We've grown broccoli outside. So we have a variety of different things that we've grown outside on the raised beds. We also have a food truck outside.
A food truck?
A food truck that we actually take some of our vegetables and prep them into little packages for when we have to do donations and different things in the community.
Fantastic. That's great. So you all you don't do a farmer's market here?
We do in the summertime.
All right, we'll talk about that.
Okay, well, back in the summer, our students grew the different plants. We actually harvest them, and they had to make inventory of all of our produce. We took our basil, one of our very popular items, and we made basil lemonade. So out on Chicago Avenue, we actually had a lemonade stand, a farmer's market. So the students made flyers to advertise and gave out to the community to come over on certain days and certain times to buy some of our lemonade. We had people stopping, just driving by to buy our lemonade. So the students learned about earning money, you know, towards this basil lemonade we had, our farmer's market. They had to do the inventory on all of our produce, what products we use, how many did we use, how many did not we use. So they had to do inventory on everything we done, and they learned from it, and they earned the money that they raised from doing the produce.
So I would imagine, because you're not trying to make money, that your produce is probably more reasonable than some of the stores.
Yes, most definitely.
But if you were trying to make money, you probably would have to charge more because it costs more to do this type of growing, right?
I think what I learned, not to cut you off, I think what I learned in the community from, I'm an accountant, so I understand how much it costs to grow these products.
Right.
And if you try to sell this type of product in this community, they won't be able to afford it. Because, an average head of lettuce cost to grow is probably $350 to $450. So you can't sell a head of lettuce that we grow for $5 or $4.50. So if you cut it to $2, they might buy it, but you got to find mechanisms to sell it where you say you're not trying to make money, but you are trying to make money, but you're not trying to make money, which is very difficult to understand, because if we look at the energy costs to grow, we're trying to get to a solar, but you want the people to understand the product. So you sort of got to go 50-50 with it. You got to make it reasonable, but you really want them to understand the health aspect of the product. Try to compare it to a head of lettuce in the store. Try to see what the taste is. So when people get, or the seniors get these collard greens, it takes a little bit longer to grow collard greens here, but when they do get it, the feedback is always the taste. It's a different taste, and it's easier to prepare it. That's because it's not pesticide, and it's growing in water. Now, when you're talking about this is a controlled environment, outdoor, what she said they grew watermelons and squash, you get to learn that it's uncontrolled. You have no control over it. So while you come in the morning, you see somebody and took a plug out of it, you upset. But now you got to figure out, we took all this time to grow this watermelon, but now it's a hole in it because a squirrel came or something came up under the gate and he wasn't eating too. So you learn that animals eat better than humans because they know where to get the good food from. They go to the gardens and they pull a tomato, they'll punch a cucumber, they'll punch a watermelon, so you leave it there because you're not going to eat it. Then they come back every day. So just leave it there, see how many holes come in a watermelon if you leave it. So they get to learn this. Wow, we should have, then I tell them, hey, about pesticide, you want to spray it and then eat it? So you're taking a chance when you're growing outdoors. So you're praying that they don't mess with that watermelon because you want it as big as you can get it so they can celebrate.
So we got about 5 minutes left. Is it faster to grow inside or outside?
Inside.
Inside. So guys, we got about 5 minutes left. I want to thank you all very much for allowing us to put you on the show. We hope that we can find more places like this in the city of Chicago. Is important. I hope that, I hope you got some collard greens so I can buy some from you. But I hope that the community come and check you all out. So you located at 4250
West Chicago Avenue.
4250 West Chicago Avenue. Come and volunteer, come and donate. Come and see if you can buy some greens or some other vegetables here, right? And support the kids, because when you invest in this, you invest in our youth, right? And you invest in our future, you help them stay off the streets.
Yes.
So I want to thank you all for doing what you do. I want to thank Congressman Davis for, getting that from the USDA, from Washington, D.C. to help you all start this thing off. I want to thank Aetna for trying to help their customers. You would think a healthcare organization don't want people to be healthy. You want them to be sick so they can come come back, right? But no, you want to do preventive illnesses here by making sure people eat healthy and stay well. So I think that's a great thing. I also want to thank you all for helping our churches, our schools, and our kids. So God bless you all for taking us back to where we started from, right? So that's fantastic. So I want to thank both of you all. Thank you for coming on to the show. Anything we can do to help you all, let us know. All right. So again, if people want to get in contact with you again,
metro-farms.org, 312-471-9151. Thank you.
You got any of those catfish or any of those, what's the other fish you said? Tilapia. Y'all got me hungry, man. Thank you for watching the show. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you for watching Network 27. I'm Vice Mayor Walter Burnett, Alderman Walter Burnett. Thank you for watching. See you next month. God bless.